What's going on, everybody? My name is Aiden and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, the Chicago Bulls fall to the Cleveland Cavaliers at home in what many people would call a trap game. Now, at the end of the day, the Chicago Bulls are not going to win every game, and I fully understand there are still problems that are going to go on, and there's still going to be inconsistencies that arise, but there are some things in this game that I do see as unacceptable. And if the Bulls continue to fall down that path, we will not be impressed with the Chicago Bulls heading into our next couple of games. Let's hope they can fix some areas up and at least perform to a standard and expectation when it comes to some of the work ethic and some of the, I guess, dirtier side of the game, let's say. But before we get any further, if you like the video and you want to see more from me, drop a like, drop a follow, and or subscribe if you are new, and let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the Chicago Bulls, their game today, your player of the game, your thoughts and opinions on how the game went. We lost this game, as you can see, 109-95. It was not a great game for the Chicago Bulls overall. And look, no Darius Garland, no Donovan Mitchell, no Karis LeVert, no Evan Mobley, and I'm sure there's a bunch others. No problem for Cleveland. And here's the reason why in my eyes. Now, look. Yes, Cleveland had a better three-point night. The Bulls did not make their shots. That's obviously one thing. But I can accept that. You want to know why I can accept that? Because at the end of the day, not every game is going to be flying from the three-point line. That's something we have to accept. We're not going to be the most amazing three-point shooting team each and every single game. Tonight, we suffered the consequences of what it's like not making our threes. Kobe White didn't make a three today. He was 0 from 6. Other guys didn't contribute that much from the three-point line. We did fall in that category. Guys like Caruso had off nights. Guys like Javon Carter had off nights. That's going to happen. And when they have off nights, you're going to tend to lose more games than you win. It is as simple as that. But there's other areas of the game that I find extremely unacceptable. Like I said, I can accept the Bulls having an off shooting night. I can accept the Bulls having an off offensive night. I can accept the Bulls in some ways reverting back to an old form and style when we see things go into trouble. In many ways, I can accept that because we're a growing team and we're going to have growing pains. That's going to happen. There is no avoiding it. You saw the goods, sometimes you're going to see the bads. But here are the things I don't like. The second chance opportunities for the Cleveland Cavaliers was downright ridiculous. And that goes to work ethic. I did not like the work ethic of this team today. Cleveland, whether it was the matchup issues or whatever it was, they absolutely attacked the glass with venom. And they came out walking out with more shots than the Chicago Bulls. And you know my favorite saying when it comes to that. If you're going to give a team more shots than you, there's more likely of a chance they're going to win the game. Basic stuff. That's not hard to comprehend. More shots equals more points. Most times. Sometimes it doesn't, but most times it does. And we definitely gave away a lot more second chance opportunities to the Cleveland Cavaliers. That is downright brutal. I think that there was at one point, it was like 28-1. That is just not acceptable from the Chicago Bulls. Not only did we not capitalize on our own offensive rebounds, we had like 4 of them or whatever it was. Cleveland dominated in that department, but the ones that we did have, we didn't take advantage of. So that's instantly right there, in my eyes, of work ethic issues. And that's the one thing I can't accept when we talk about the Bulls and their wins and their losses. I hate talking about game reactions coming into Bulls games and talking about how the other team works harder. And I felt like that was a plain and simple thing that was clear for everybody. When you have Max Strus, guys like Wade, Okoro, Jared Allen. Look, that team wasn't the most talented team out there on the court. The Bulls had more talent out there, I would arguably say. But they worked harder. Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. You could say the Bulls are tired. You could say the Bulls are this and the Bulls are that. That's up to you. You can make your own excuses in your head. You could say the Bulls played 4 out of 4 games in the last 6 days. I get it. I understand. Maybe the energy wasn't there. Maybe the Bulls were tired. I'm not going to sit here and make excuses on behalf of the Bulls. They can make their own excuses if they like. Whatever the case may be, they didn't work harder than the Cleveland Cavaliers, and that is the key to walking away with a win for them. The next thing I wanted to talk about that I sincerely hated with a passion was the fouls. I hated how often we fouled the Cleveland Cavaliers. I felt like in every single quarter of that game, we sent Cleveland to the penalty before the final 2-minute mark, before the final 5-minute mark even. That is a problem from the Chicago Bulls. Too many foul calls. Some of them are soft. Some of them you can understandably say the refs may have, I guess, called a cheap one, but most of the time the Bulls are giving away cheap fouls, shoving people to the floor, putting their hands in the cookie jar. And at the end of the day, that came back to bite us. That allowed Cleveland to get a lot of free throws and Cleveland to kind of play the way that they wanted to play, knowing that the fouls were going to come their way. And that happened all game. So that's another thing I didn't like. Number 3, I didn't like the Billy Donovan adjustments. Look, Cleveland played massive basketball today. They did. Can't take away from them. And I feel like Billy Donovan had to respond in this way. I'm going to give some credit to Billy Donovan. I feel like he had to respond in this way because the Bulls were not giving any effort on the rebounding. So it makes sense, play Vooch and Drummond together because they could both rebound the ball and they'll bring energy on the rebounding. But I didn't like that lineup. That lineup did not work in my eyes. And again, I blame the Bulls players for forcing Billy to do that, but I do blame Billy Donovan for trying it. Again, it's an experiment. I'm not going to go too crazy and say, oh my goodness, this is the worst thing he's ever done. But I didn't like that. And I also didn't like in the fourth quarter how we played with no center. Look, I understand the idea. The Cleveland Cavaliers were hot from the three-point line, so try to switch as much as possible. The more switching you can do at an effective rate means there's less opportunities at the three-point line. I completely understand where it's coming from there. And the way that Porter Jr. was playing for Cleveland, going over the screens weren't working because he was just shooting over our players left, right, and center. So I understand it from that point of view. But playing with no center, guess what that led to? More offensive rebounds, more second chance opportunities, more effort from Cleveland. I mean, there were certain points in the game you could just watch it and see where if the Bulls missed a shot, all of Cleveland's players crashed in for the rebound and the Bulls were just standing there still. And when Cleveland missed shots, the Bulls weren't boxing out. This is not just a center issue. This is a guard issue. This is a forward issue as well. Boxing out is a basic concept of basketball that sometimes is hard to implement because of the physicality of the game. But these players are professionals, and I would say we had more physicality outside of Jared Allen than the Cleveland Cavaliers, maybe Okoro as well. So I just find it unacceptable. All of these things I find unacceptable. To sum it up, I didn't like Billy's rotations. I didn't like how much we fouled the Cleveland Cavaliers, and I didn't like how they outworked us by so much. These are the things I didn't like. Now, to move on to the must improve and the player of the game. My must improve is probably going to be... I'm going to pick Javon Carter this time around. 3 points on the night, but 1 from 7 from the field, which is having an off night off the bench. But there are loads of guys. Again, all of our starters, except for Patrick Williams, had minus plus minuses. Fun fact, everybody but Patrick Williams had minus plus minuses. So clearly Patrick Williams was one of the key guys in the game. You could potentially say he's the player of the game because of that reason alone. But I'm actually going to pick DeMar DeRozan. I think Vucevic did well, but Vucevic did well on one side of the ball, not the other side of the ball. Jared Allen, his stats, they're probably looking crazy. 19 points, 17 rebounds, and 7 assists for Jared Allen. So Vucevic did well on one side, did not do well on the other. Drummond, the same. And I think DeMar DeRozan just had an overall better impact on the game. He got a couple of steals in there, so he was playing some solid defense, playing in the passing lanes. 21 and 8. DeMar DeRozan is my player of the game. Look, it's a bad game, but I'm not going to overreact. I get it. There are some elements that are unacceptable. I get it. There are some elements of this game that I never want to see again. And this was definitely a game where we played down to the opponent's level and we fell into the trap of the Cleveland Cavaliers. I get it. Those things are definitely something to be upset with. But in the last 12 games, this Bulls team has delivered more positive moments than negative. And I don't want that to be ruined based on one game. So I encourage you guys, as upset as you may be, keep that support up for the Chicago Bulls. Keep on cheering, keep on hoping, and keep on believing this team has turned a new leaf. Don't let your feelings revert back to the way that it was based on one game. Let's give this team more opportunities to see what they could do and to see how consistent they can be in the long run. Thank you guys for watching. Drop a like and a follow and or subscribe if you are new. I will see you in the next Bulls video. Have a wonderful and safe day. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay tuned for more. Take care and peace.